The following is a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about them Cowboys?
Yeah, go Cowboys! This is Mick Shots. Streaming live on DallasCowboys.com and the official Dallas Cowboys app. Now, here are Bill Jones, Savannah Humoller, Everson Walls, and Mickey Spagnola.
And here we are. Do we call this a Victory Monday?
Yes, we do.
Absolutely.
Yes, we do.
There we go. Stampeding into Eagles week here on Mick Shots. Mm-hmm. And as I like to say, when Bill's missing, 3 out of 4 ain't bad. Bill is trying to save his voice. I heard him last night on his CBS 11 newscast, and it was a little rough.
Was it? So he still did the newscast?
But he did it. He got through, and I was thinking, golly, sounds better.
Better than last Friday?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he was having a tough time.
So you've got Mickey, Savannah, and Everson on this glorious Monday
Beautiful
at the
day
Star.
outside. Beautiful day.
And unfortunately, or fortunately, I should say, we're in the SWBC Mortgage Studio at the Star. And I think we got a little Victory Monday there after finally the Eagles lost a game. Got beat by San Francisco 42-19 on the, I guess it was the late game. It seemed like it was a night game.
It seemed like it.
Man, they went into the night.
Right?
They did, yeah.
All night long. Did everybody watch it to the end?
Yes.
Not a bunch of penalties, though. I didn't see lots of flags flying around. You think that was overcompensation for
there should have been
game?
There should have been one in that evening game. I don't know if you watched the Packers-Chiefs game.
I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah, a little bit.
You didn't watch towards the end?
I was at a Christmas party.
The Packers cornerback or safety just mugged the Chiefs receiver at about the I can't remember if it was the end zone or about the 5 or 10 yard line. Jumped on his back, had his arm around his neck, and knocked the ball out with his other arm.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
Good play. No penalty.
Wow.
And
Chiefs get no respect.
Patrick Mahomes said, well, we got the is what it is, but I'd rather them let us play than call every little thing. And I'm going, I understand that, but wasn't a little thing.
He has always been benefited from PI calls,
right?
As a quarterback. He has always benefited from that. I'm surprised. Maybe it's because they don't respect the roster anymore.
Right.
They had a hell of a roster when they was getting all the calls. Now all of a sudden receivers can't get open. He's looking human.
Yeah.
And to me, Patrick Mahomes is the only quarterback, and that's including my man Dak. He is the only quarterback to me that can win a game by himself.
Well, he couldn't last night.
Not last night.
He got loved to death about that. Packers winning that game. But going back to the San Francisco Eagles game, so, the Eagles, been teetering on a loss for 3 weeks in a row, and they finally lost one, which means the Eagles are now in first place in the NFC East at 10-2. The Cowboys are second at 9-3, and we finally get the game we were looking for coming this Sunday night.
All of America is looking forward to this game.
At AT&T Stadium, the Cowboys, with their 4-game winning streak, have an opportunity now, if they can beat the Eagles and tie for first place in the NFC East with 4 games to go. But again, they got to take care of their own business.
Yes, sir.
Somebody finally kind of helped them out, and San Francisco did a number on the Eagles last night. I was just kind of wondering what your guys' thoughts were on how San Francisco dealt with the Eagles in that game.
My first thought is Deebo Samuel.
There you go. My man, Deebo.
He was a beast for the 49ers yesterday. He really was. And Brock Purdy, phenomenal yesterday.
Another near perfect performance. I think his quarterback rating ended up 148. But Debo, 4 catches for 116 yards, including the 48-yarder, 2 touchdowns, and he had 3 carries for 22 yards and a touchdown. So he was almost single-handedly the difference in that game.
Well, he's still upset about the playoff game.
Sure he is.
And he was talking trash after that game, because he knew that they were handicapped because of
They ran out of quarterbacks that
getting
could
hurt.
actually throw the ball.
So he's been seething to get it at this game. I mean, he's been talking noise ever since the end of that championship game. So he was finally able to come through and put his money where his mouth was.
Okay, what did you guys think about the Dom, head of security for
Big
the
Dom.
Eagles? And
Does everybody know him? Does everyone know him?
I think
that
they
was
know
my
him.
first
Right.
time. Like,
I never heard of the guy.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess he's known in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Big Dom DeSandro.
the standing ovation from the crowd was just.
Leave it to him.
So my thing is,
big-
why did he get ejected?
Well, did you see it?
I saw it. Yeah. I mean, he didn't do much.
Was
mean,
it because he was breaking up the players and he kind of got himself involved in it?
That's the only way you're going to do your job. You got to get
but,
involved with
but
it.
I don't think everybody has a security guy in the sideline to break up anything that's going on the field.
Well, that was really on the sideline at that point.
Yeah, it was, but
Yeah.
it was still part of the field.
So wait, how do you? Well, okay, so as a security guy, that you make a good point.
Here's the part what they left off is that, okay, the thing spilled into the sideline.
sidelines.
Deontay Smith and Dre Greenlaw. Okay. And the first thing I saw was they're John, and Big Dom takes his hand and puts it in the chest of Greenlaw.
Yes.
Like to back him off.
Yeah.
And Greenlaw took it.
Because Greenlaw was
Right.
pressing.
But he took exception to it and then reached out and his hand kind of got in Big Dom's face, right? So he gets 15 yards.
It was a finger.
Yeah, a finger.
It was,
Yeah.
just a brief.
You couldn't
little-
see the finger
yeah.
from that angle, but it was a finger.
a finger.
Yeah.
Barely.
Yeah.
And so he gets 15 yards for that. Well,
Yeah.
he got 15 yards for the tackle,
Yes.
right? That was
He slammed him down.
But he got kicked out for the other part. And
I don't think either one should have gotten kicked out.
and then they kicked Dom out to a standing ovation.
But once again,
Leave it to a big, burly Italian guy to get a standing ovation in Philadelphia.
But he didn't do any. I mean, all he did was his job. He didn't really mouth off at Greenlaw at all. Because, like I said, Greenlaw was pressing him, and he's like, "Yo, man, get back!" He was trying to, and Greenlaw was pressing, so he had to press back.
But I think there was some exchange in there too that the
He didn't say much either.
well, we couldn't hear.
Yeah, well, he must be
The
good.
officials saw
He must
something
be a
they didn't
ventriloquist
like,
because
right?
he seemed to be pretty, even keeled on the whole thing. I thought it was very surprising.
Well-
but I think both of them should have stayed in. It's no big deal.
Well, but it was almost comic relief in a very tightly contested game, right?
That they thought that was gonna inspire the Eagles.
And they went and scored,
they
right?
Did, but
Unfortunately, after
it didn't
that,
inspire their defense.
I think the 49ers ended up scoring 3 consecutive.
Yes,
They
yes.
scored touchdowns on 6 consecutive possessions. 6 after
Away
they
from
fell
home.
behind 6-0.
That lets you know how we should have beaten
And
the
crappy
Eagles
weather,
in
too.
Philly.
Yeah.
We should have beaten them
Right?
in Philly.
With the exception of those 2 plays, it might have looked that
That's
way,
right.
right?
That's right.
So here's what, other than that, and I just kind of laughed at it because it just, Shanahan didn't think it was too funny to have his guy thrown out because of that. The 49ers ran the ball 28 times for 146 yards against that Eagles defense.
That's Debo and McCaffrey.
Debo had 22, and McCaffrey had 93, and Mitchell 13 more, and some guy named Mason 2 for 10. So, but they ended up with 146 yards, 5.2 yards a carry. That's what really stuck out to me, other than what you said about Purdy, with a 148.8 quarterback rating, and that's coming off of it was either the last game or the game before when he had a perfect 158.3. So, yeah, he was awfully good. And San Francisco, I mean, 6 consecutive possessions with a touchdown. That, to me, was remarkable.
McCaffrey is old school. The way he runs the ball, the way he follows his blocking, and trust me, he's able to make the moves that he makes because you have a man on a man. But the way he's able to pick the right spots, the way he's able to set up his blocks, you hadn't seen running like that in a long time. I mean, you used to see that all the time with Dorsett. You know, we saw his speed, but we never really respected how Dorsett used his blockers to his advantage. McCaffrey is a guy, you just don't see running backs doing that these days. Kamara used to do it with the Saints all the time. That's the way Christian McCaffrey is running the ball right now. He's not special to where if he doesn't have any room, then he's going to make room. That's not how he does it. He reads his blocks perfectly, and his footwork within space, it reminds you of Aaron Rodgers when he's in the pocket. You know, you wonder how he's able to slip here, slip there, and operate in small space. McCaffrey is a running back that does that, and you just don't see that anymore in the NFL.
I didn't mean to do that, but they just showed the interference call that they didn't call. I don't know if this is the play or it's no. It already that was the last play. Yeah. It was the play before. They just showed it, and they got a little shove there on 87, but that's just a Hail Mary, right?
That looked like wrestling right there, didn't it?
Yeah.
But you know what? The way you described it, he runs like he's on a conveyor belt. He just kind of slides right through everything. And there's a lot of congestion, too. And it's not like he's physically bumping off of people.
Nope, he is not.
Just slithers through.
He's moving. He's moving his way through.
Yeah.
You know, slithering his way in and out. And like I said, the footwork is amazing. When we saw one play where he hurdled a guy in space. You know, he hurdled right over the guy. I mean, to be able to do that, and it wasn't just one of those hurdles like you see the tight ends doing. No, this was a hurdle to where his feet were back on the ground quickly, and he was able to make a move off of the hurdle. That's difficult to do. You got to have good footwork for that.
As Ferguson did on Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't that kind of hurdle. No. His was, a little bit more stealthy.
So watching the Eagles defense yesterday, what did you pick up going into this Sunday when we're playing them?
That I bet they're the leaders in the clubhouse on signing Shaq Leonard. I think
You think so?
need a linebacker.
They do.
We'll see. And, keep an eye on that.
I've been keeping an eye on it all morning. Last night, David Moore from the Dallas Morning News, he reported free agent Shaq Leonard is expected to take the rest of last night and this morning to decide between Cowboys and Eagles and inform the teams today of his decision. So,
and it's like I told you.
It's a waiting game now.
This is crazy.
I told you on Friday
really exciting.
the Cowboys expected the decision to be made on Sunday. So maybe he made it and he's going to announce it today.
So is he the kind of guy that goes, okay, I can help Philly turn the corner?
Yeah,
or is he the kind of guy that goes, you know what, I love it in Dallas, and this is the place I want to be right now. Cowboys are trending upward.
I don't know him very well.
It's a toss-up.
So and again, we didn't think it would come down to money since he's still getting paid by the Colts.
No, this is opportunity.
Right.
This is all about opportunity. You know, like I talked about my experience with Seattle and the Giants. Yeah, more money is one place, but where's your real opportunity going to be? Mine was New York, thank God. But, what does he think? Does he feel like he's got a better chance with the Cowboys? Or does he think that is just what Philly needs to not let that happen again?
Right.
Yeah.
To get 41, 42 put on him?
He probably thinks,
I can come in and save the day.
I can save the day, right. Cowboys, hell, we need some saving too now.
Yeah.
It wasn't like our defense was out there blowing it up.
No, exactly. Especially the last game, right? So it'll be interesting. We'll keep an eye on it, what time he decides to make his decision or which team. I didn't get a good feel here, but you never know. You know, I don't know.
You saw him here?
No, I'm saying from what I've talked to the folks here that
no one can put a finger on it as well.
Yeah, it's like and I didn't know. I never got anybody to say, well, it felt pretty good chance here. So
it'll go either way.
So
I still don't know that he's the savior for anybody.
That's my point.
By the way,
that's my point. Because I mean, we could look at Evans. We could still look at Evans. You know, he didn't get much of a chance in the game. You know, he's still trying to ramp himself up on how to play on the field. You know, that game was pretty helter-skelter, not just for him, but for everyone on defense. So to just call him out and say, well, he got beat on that play, I mean, yeah, he's going to get beat on a few plays until he gets his legs back under.
I was trying to see how many snaps he ended up getting. Well,
I think last week you said 20-something.
That was the week before.
The week before.
It was he had, oh my, three defensive snaps. But he had 32 special team snaps. So, no, I'm sorry, 9 special team snaps, 32%.
Okay.
So he didn't play very much. So, yeah, and that was the guy, remember when they brought him in? It's like, oh.
The same thing.
Yeah, veteran, knows what he's doing out there, but it took him a while to get adjusted into
He's still
everything
trying to get
here.
adjusted. He's still trying.
He wasn't with the team during camp.
He wasn't with anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody, yeah.
And I think maybe it shows. So, and Leonard, I mean, he's not like some big middle linebacker you're going to put in there, right? He's an outside linebacker.
He's a playmaker, though.
Yeah, he
That's
was.
What he was a playmaker. That's what he does.
So we'll see how that goes. And everybody says, well, they need another big linebacker. And I said, they got one, 250-pound Micah Parsons. Just let him play linebacker. I don't know about your thoughts on it, but it just seems like he's more versatile at linebacker than he is at defensive end.
There's no doubt. Yeah, they know where he is at defensive end. And we could still play with it. You know, we can still put him at defensive end when we need a rush, which is what we've been doing.
Right.
You know, in crucial situations. But I got to say, we talk about Parsons. When I see he and Lawrence on the same side, that gives me great joy.
You smile when you see
great joy. You know, because you see what Parsons did in the game, but DeMarcus Lawrence, the last three series of plays, he turned the game around for us.
Yes.
Defensively. And no one really said much about that. The screen pass that Geno was trying to throw at the end on the fourth down, you know, he kind of could have gotten it off, you know, even though Parsons was in his face. But D-Law was right there. Not only did he shut down the offensive lineman from trying to get outside on him, he also interfered with the running back who was going to catch the screen pass.
He delayed him.
He delayed
right?
all of that. I mean, it was very subtle, you know, because all we saw was the explosion from Parsons. We didn't see the little nuances that was going on with D-Law at that time, you know, between that offensive tackle and the running back.
He's having a quietly great season.
He always does.
He's flying under the radar, but he's getting the job done for us.
And not to mention the fourth down. I mean,
exactly.
The fourth down, that was even before.
That was an amazing play, by the way.
He went all the way inside. It wasn't an accident. He went all the way inside, came back outside, and made the play.
And we need to take a break, but after you said that, so I saw finally somebody did what I said they should do on the tush push. It didn't quite happen soon enough.
Yeah.
But the San Francisco, I don't remember who it was. It was a defensive back. He got over the top behind Hurts, and he horse collared him.
He did.
But if you're in the box, you can horse collar a running back.
They sure did.
Right?
He
and he
back.
tried to yank him back,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
It was too late. But he finally did what I said that's what you need to do. Just go in and grab him from the back of the neck.
If you're going to do that, it's going to be better if it's like 2 yards to go.
Not one.
At 1 yard to go,
Yeah.
you're not going to get there in time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they didn't, by the way. All right, we continue here on Mick Shots, and we'll kind of give you an idea where the Cowboys are going forward in this big Eagles week on Mick Shots.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
Back to Mick Shots.
K-Post Roofing and Waterproofing, the official roofer of the Dallas Cowboys. And we are on the Shaq Leonard watch right now. And Stephen Jones is talking to 105.3 The Fan. And he said just a little bit ago that we have no idea right now. It's a work in progress. We'll see. There's been a lot of back and forth. Had a great visit, laid everything out for him, our vision for him, and how he could help us win a championship. I think he enjoyed his visit here, but obviously there is more than us involved here. We'll just have to see.
All right. Up to the minute.
What does that sound?
News.
That doesn't sound good to me, Spags.
Like he's not even
Yeah,
hopeful.
like it sounds like, sounds like he's just trying to get the best deal.
Yeah.
Probably.
So once if this is not enough, you've seen what we're doing. If
Right.
this is not enough and you hadn't made a decision yet, I don't think he's going to do it.
So the Cowboys, who have to take care of themselves, get back to work today after having a 3-day weekend. Hope everybody else enjoyed their 3 days.
Oh, yes.
The good thing about it is Bill talked about it last week. We were a little bit tired. Mm-hmm. We were a bit tired. And to play that way and to win while fatigued, that's a good win. That's a pretty good win against a team that's, I would imagine, I'd be surprised if the Seahawks don't do well from here on out because they're playing desperate. I'll be surprised if they don't do as well as they did in the Cowboys game against their other opponents. But we were a tired team. We still won against a well-coached team and a quarterback that was playing his best game. I think that was the best game I've ever seen Geno play. I mean, you got to look at it. I mean, he was throwing. It wasn't just our mistakes. It was his playmaking that really kept him in the game. So to survive that, I think we're going to be so much better off with rest this time.
And now we're going off of 9 days, is it, of a period until this Eagles game. So they had the 3 days off, and then this week, so
Yeah.
9 days of rest, which is
Right.
great going
Or
into
not
the Eagles.
rest, but not having to play
yes,
a game.
exactly.
My God, they better not be resting this week.
They'll be practicing.
I want them knocking heads.
No, that's true though. You know, and a home game, and another home game.
Right.
So all of it bodes well for the Cowboys this week.
So, and I heard someone said that, the Eagles, they had to play 3 games in 13 days.
Okay, got it.
I don't want to
Yeah.
hear that.
Yeah, got it.
Right? Yeah, fine.
Yeah. We got problems too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one said the Cowboys only won 41-35
Right.
because they had to play 3 games in 12 days. But at least they'll be back in the building today. As a matter of fact, here on DallasCowboys.com, well, maybe not. At least we have a Mike McCarthy press conference at 1 o'clock because I don't think we've been airing the press conference live. But it will be on the website. So did you guys watch the Detroit game? Anybody?
I did.
No,
I did.
a couple plays of it, but I was watching the Texans-Broncos game.
See, I did.
Another good game.
I didn't do
was a good
justice to either, but I had both on at the
Yeah.
same time.
Yeah.
Along with the college playoff show, right? So the Lions 9-3 now, and it looked like the Saints were going to get them, and they hung on to win 33-28
On the road.
and moved to 9-3. So they are, one of the teams that are 9-3 in the NFC, the Cowboys have to play them going forward, second to the last game of the season. And, boy, their rookie tight end had a pretty darn good day, right? Laporta, 9 catches, 140 yards, and 1 touchdown.
I think it was one play where he was just all alone.
Right?
Running a long time. It took him a while to get down the road.
Either of the 3 of us could have caught that
That's
one.
right.
I think what impressed me, other than him, was the fact that they were able to run the football. And I think that's something the Cowboys have to be aware of. 26 carries for 116 yards with their 2 running backs, Gibbs and Montgomery. So that's something that you better be able to stop when you play the Lions, who play pretty darn hard, although they got to the lead and they let the Saints back in the game. So, but that's down the road. The Cowboys have to deal, like I said, with the Eagles Sunday night, AT&T Stadium. And I thought the interesting thing now coming out of that game and into this one is who the Cowboys have left to play and who the Eagles have left to play. So we're well aware the Cowboys have to take on Philadelphia, go to Buffalo, go to Miami on Christmas Eve, and then Detroit the following Saturday, and then Washington. The Eagles at 10-2 have the Cowboys. Then they've got to play the Seahawks, Giants, Arizona, and the Giants again. How do they get that?
I think we had it like that one year, didn't we?
Play like one of the, like Washington, maybe 2 of the last 3 games. So they still have the best record in the NFC at 10-2. I guess in the NFL, because the best record on the other side's 9-3. San Francisco has to play the Seahawks, the Cardinals, Baltimore, Washington, and the Rams. So they got to deal with the Seahawks, the Ravens, and kind of a resurgent Rams team, right?
And a team that knows them very well.
Right?
Yeah.
They've played, and who knows, the Cardinals, they seem to sneak up on people.
Golly, man. They just get on your nerves, don't they? They're just like a itch you can't get rid of.
That loss still haunts the Cowboys.
Yes,
It really does.
Because it's an NFC loss, and in the list of tiebreakers, if they end up tied with Philadelphia, meaning they have to beat them, the 4th tiebreaker is NFC record. and the Cowboys might have just one more. If they don't lose other than to the Cowboys, they would have one more NFC loss, and it would be Arizona. And by the way, Detroit, 9-3, leading their division. They've got to play the Bears, Broncos. How about this one now? Vikings, Cowboys, Vikings.
Okay. Again,
same deal.
Yeah.
As the Eagles have. So
Boy, that's no picnic for them either going down the stretch.
No, not at all. Now,
and they are a team. They're a lot like the Cowboys in regards to you can get, you can fall in love with how they win and the talent that they have, but sometimes they just stink up the joint.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, they just do it sometimes. I think they are us last year.
And at least they would have they got a 2-game lead on the Packers. Hit your standings there, because the Packers won last night, so that I think that got them to 7-5.
They are 6-6.
6-6.
Packers.
Okay. So yeah, they got a 3-game
in the hunt.
They got a 3-game lead on them with five to play, but the Packers are playing better. So that kind of gives you an idea of what these teams have going down the stretch here that are at the top of at least the NFC. And in the 3 divisions, the leaders are 9-3, 9-3, and 10-2, except for the South, right? So,
oh my God,
I think we have the toughest stretch.
Atlanta jumped in.
Oh, we do have the toughest stretch.
We have the toughest stretch,
Yeah.
especially with the 2 on the road against the AFC.
And this is the time after. Well, starting this Sunday, you have to show up. This is where everything matters.
Yes.
Especially if you're coming up on Buffalo and Miami. And
Right.
Miami, they beat the Commanders this week 45-15.
That was
I think
in
that was Washington. I
yeah.
think it was in Washington.
And Tyreek Hill just trying to say it that I can say on the air, but they ran roughshod over him. Let's put it that way.
This Dolphins team, and we'll get into them next week, but I think they're somewhat of a front-runner team as well.
Yeah, it was
when
at
things
Washington.
are going well with them, they are just so good. And then you wait on them to show up, like against Philly. They came out there, and it looked like they were going to do everything right. They couldn't even hardly pass on a secondary that Philadelphia has that really isn't that good. And they had a tough time with that secondary. You just blew out somebody by 70 to something, and then you come to Philly, and you got guys dropping passes. Tyreek Hill dropped a touchdown. Those kind of things happen, and that happens when you get more pressure on you than you can handle. And those are the kind of teams, if you put that pressure on them, then they're gonna fold. They're gonna fold. And I'm hoping we can do that to them, even though it's at their place.
So we kind of did what Dak told us not to do. We looked sideways here for that segment. When return here on Mick Shot, we're staying in our lane, and we're going to analyze these Cowboys on what we feel like they need to do best down the stretch to be able to have a chance to win the NFC East. Mick Shot's continuing in a moment.
The Medal of Honor is our country's highest military award for valor in combat. More than 40 million individuals have served in the armed forces since the Civil War. Fewer than 4,000 have received the Medal of Honor. The National Medal of Honor Museum will be a place to preserve these legacies and inspire America. It's being built right next door to the Dallas Cowboys in Texas. Help us honor our country's greatest heroes. Learn more and get involved at mohmuseum.org.
Cowboys football and Miller Lite. What a pairing. Can cracks at kickoff. Tailgates going way past postgame. Sunday night overtimes followed by Monday morning swagger. Brisket in the smoker. Miller Lite in the cooler. America's team playing America's greatest sport. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys football tastes like Miller time. Celebrate responsibly. 2023 Miller Brewing Company, Fort Worth, Texas.
I'm Dak Prescott, quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys.
And they snap it to Prescott, who looks right. It's not there. He escapes left. He'll run for a first down.
Just like football, when it comes to crypto, it's important to have a team you can trust. With blockchain.com, I know I'm in good hands. Since 2011, they've been trusted by millions around the world to buy, sell, and trade cryptocurrency.
Prescott's going to run this himself. Run it up the middle, and he scores.
Whether you're new to crypto or an active trader, they've got you covered. What are you waiting for? Get started at blockchain.com.
You know that sound anywhere. It's the crisp crunch of that first nacho chip. With its perfect cheese to sour cream ratio sitting atop a layer of delicious beans, it's a sip away from perfection. That's what we're looking for. Add a delicious, refreshing Pepsi and we've achieved absolute nacho nirvana. Because while you can pile those nachos high with every spicy, cheesy, savory topping, there's no topping a cool Pepsi finish. Nachos, better with Pepsi. That's what I like.
Back to Mick Shots.
'Tis the season for youth football and dance camps presented by Invisalign. Don't miss your chance. Learn from the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders and former NFL players at AT&T Stadium on December 22nd and 23rd. Celebrate the holidays with the Cowboys. Register today at dallascowboys.com/camps.
Very good, Savannah, as we continue here on Mick Shots.
She stumbled.
I did stumble.
I didn't even notice it. Sounded good to me.
Call me out, Everson.
I just gave her love last week. I gotta be, fair.
Exactly.
She stumbled.
All right, these Cowboys. What do we want to see out of them to be able to beat these Eagles, or what they need to improve on going down the stretch?
Running game.
Running game.
Running game. We need to do that. We need to get better at the running game for the rest of this year. We've got to get better at it. We're feeling comfortable. Dak's doing this thing. The offensive line protects better each week as far as the pass is concerned. And that makes me feel good. So we don't feel like it's such a hazard for Dak to be back there passing as much as he is. We're almost going back to the same pattern that we had with Kellen Moore was here. We're passing a lot. We're passing a lot more than we really should be passing if we want to have a good running game. But they're protecting so well that it really doesn't leave us in a panic. And so Dak, there were times in the game Dak was back there for a minute. I mean, one time he was back there, looked like 6 seconds, and he didn't even move. He didn't even have to. He just kept his feet going. And so that's all good. But eventually, they're going to, Philly and Buffalo, Miami, their team is going to say, okay, we're going to start playing the pass, and we're not even going to start worrying about the run, because they have right now, our run, we did okay. I think Pollard had 70-plus yards or something.
It looks good from a numerical standpoint. Pollard had 68, but they had 136. 30 of that, though, was CeeDee Lamb on end arounds.
Yes.
So if you take his 30 out, they're at 106, 32 carries for 106. That's 3 point whatever a carry.
Yeah.
That's tough. We're only doing it. It's only effective in regards to keeping the defense honest. That's the only way it's effective. The fact that we would attempt the run. It's not that it's a successful play. Just the fact that we attempt it, okay, we'll keep them honest. But they really aren't threatened at all by our running game.
I want to see a rotation with Rico Dowdle, who can create those pockets for Tony Pollard.
Yes.
We need to see him move the line of scrimmage a little bit. And then not only that, but I'm personally a little sick of the toss from Dak to Tony Pollard.
Well, we scored once.
We did.
Yeah, but in the field.
But it's so repetitive all the time. And we need to have.
And he keeps going sideways. He never cuts up.
Let him run the ball. Let Rico Dowdle run the ball. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time when they played Philadelphia, they had 21 carries for 73 yards. It's 3.5 yards a carry. You got to at least get to 4, right? Now, they've done a little bit better job these last 5 games. So 102 against the Rams, 168 against the Giants, 107 against Carolina, 100 against Washington, and that's Washington, right?
Well, see, the problem you have is, you don't open things up for the passing game. You just don't, and every time we run, not only does it not open it up, it's a deficit because we'll end up losing 2 yards. We'll start off maybe a nice, good passing play, and it's 2nd and 2. Next thing you know, you end up 3rd and 5 again because we lost 3 yards trying to go wide. And that has been consistently happening, to where we have had negative plays when it comes to rushing plays.
Pollard had a 16-yard run. Okay,
that was a nice
that's
one.
fine, but nothing more other than Lamb's 24. But from a running standpoint, Rico's long was 8 yards.
And that was a tough 8. I remember that run. He did
all
that on his own. He did that on his own.
Carried him.
Yeah,
last 4,
he
maybe.
busted through 3 people to get the 8 yards.
So to me, it's not almost the average. Well, the average yards per carry is important, but you need some chunk runs to back people off.
Yes,
right.
Yes, to truly threaten the secondary.
Or maybe they come. They have to put another guy in there to prevent a big play.
Bring him down.
Yeah.
Bring him down. Yeah.
And that's what's not happening enough in that running game.
And we're still successful when it comes to the pass. But once again, everything doesn't work well all the time. There are going to be times when we won't be able to get that
Gotta
3rd
go to
and 8.
Buffalo.
Yes, man. You don't know what the weather's going to be like. And then you have to switch over and go to that humidity, that oven in Miami. How long can you think CD got tired being targeted this past game? You get him in Miami.
It was only 17.
Right. We're going to have to spread this thing out. We're going to have to spread this thing out. So these are the kind of things that, they kind of mess with what our trend is. Every game we're not going to be able to pass our way out of it. And we need to be careful in that. So we have to be more diverse.
You were getting ready to say? Were you agreeing with the run?
No, I was agreeing with the run completely. We need to run the ball more. We need to get that set up this week to establish the run game for the remainder of the games this season.
Tell me about it.
And for me, from a defensive standpoint, they need to either continue or get better at putting pressure on opposing quarterbacks.
And not just when we're ahead.
Right. Because, what did they only sack, would they sack Geno like 0 times?
I thought it was 1, but they said it didn't count. We sacked the running back.
The trip from Micah Parsons,
said that was not a
but
sack.
that wasn't a sack. Yeah.
They had the one, and it was on their running back, Dallas.
Yeah, of course. But back to that.
Because it was a kind of a...
Yeah, it was a
throwback.
Double throw. But wouldn't the league go through the different plays and see that was a sack by Parsons? Wouldn't they give that to him if they review everything, the calls all week? They wouldn't go back and look at that play where I thought clearly Geno's knee was on the ground before he threw the ball.
But they didn't count it.
But, a lot
it was
of times
an incompletion.
Okay.
So they can't change that. Yeah. So he doesn't get a sack on it. But he should have because his knee was down. I can't believe they didn't even review it, to tell you the truth.
That crap only happens in Dallas. It only happens in Dallas, bro.
I think also this week we have to clean up the penalties.
Oh,
There's
no
so
doubt.
many.
Thank you.
During the Seahawks game. You have to look at those.
Thank you so much.
Or get a different crew. Meaning officiating crew.
Well, here's the thing. We fuss about it, and Pete Carroll, hey, I'm going to address this. Hell, we're still the most penalized, the 2 top penalized teams. So it's not like we're surprised that they were throwing a bunch of flags. Maybe they came in anticipating a lot more than we actually had. Maybe that's why that was their mindset. Okay, we don't want to let this game get out of hand with too many guys. It could get into a melee because guys will be fussing about getting held all the time. So we're gonna stop this now. Okay, we're gonna stop this. We're gonna stop the bleeding. But what they did was just extended the game for 30 extra minutes.
It was a long game.
It was a long game.
What did I tell you it was? 3:25?
Yeah.
Yeah. 3.5 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And when you play, you're starting late, you're not a 3 o'clock game, right?
If Pete wants to do something about flags, then coach better. Because there were a lot of justified flags on both sides.
Right. And so that's a good point. And they do need to clean that up. So they had...
It gets us in a lot of trouble.
They had 10, and that means if you add that to their total now, it's 91.
91
total penalties. Yeah.
Jeez. So you go to Buffalo, crazy weather, make a play, everything's chaotic, it comes back.
You can't afford that.
Can't afford that.
No.
You cannot afford that. Go to Miami, we're already hot and tired. Now we got to go run some extra plays here because we keep – and when you're fatigued, you also are prone to more penalties.
Right.
So it's too late in the season to expect a change. I would be surprised if there was one. It's too late into the season to expect that. Now that's just another handicap that we're going to have to deal with.
Well, and I'm kind of with McCarthy on this one. The penalties of aggression you live with. The false starts and lining up in the neutral zone. It's like, come on, can't you see?
Yeah.
We need some better vision.
It ain't that hard. It's right there. What do you need? It's right there. The ball's right there. Okay? It's right there. It's right there. I don't know what else you need.
And it's not moving until it moves,
it ain't moving
right?
Until it moves. You know where you got to line up? There it is right there. You have all these lines on the field. Those are yardage. That's yardage, okay? You're right there, dude. It don't change. It ain't that hard.
They need the blue line out there.
Okay, so here's the thing.
We get the benefit of the blue line.
Wait. Why don't you have more DBs lining up off sides?
Well,
we're way down here, yet we can see where to line up, and the ball is way over there. These linemen are right there on the ball. Oh, my bad. Come on, bro. It's just too much. Too much. We close it on that one.
They need a blue line. All right, and we will close Mick Shots, and we will be back tomorrow here on DallasCowboys.com.
Go Cowboys.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club. How about this, Cowboys?